Ever wonder why that Mercedes you finance costs way more than the price tag? Those C-Class and E-Class buyers walking out thinking they got a deal at $899 a month? It's not luck. Mercedes finance managers are trained professionals, and they're really, really good at what they do. But here's the truth. Even the best negotiated price means nothing if you get destroyed in the finance office. I've worked in dealership finance for over 12 years, including 3 years at a Mercedes store, and I've seen customers pay an extra $12,000 to $18,000 over the life of their loan without even realizing it. Why? Because they trusted the finance manager to look out for them. In this video, I'm sharing finance office tricks that separate smart Mercedes buyers from those who overpay by thousands. No fancy tactics needed, just knowing what to say no to and when. So stick around, because these insider tips will save you more money than any rebate or dealer discount. Let's get into it. Number 1. The "let me get you approved" interest rate markup. Alright, here's where I lose half the internet, but I don't care because it's the truth. That interest rate your finance manager quoted you, it's almost never the rate you actually qualified for. I've seen too many Mercedes buyers with 750 credit scores paying 6.9% interest when they qualified for 4.9%. You know what they all had in common? They never asked, what rate did the bank actually approve me at? Here's how the scam works. Mercedes Financial Services approves you at 4.9%. The finance manager is allowed to mark that up by 2% and pocket the difference as commission. So they quote you 6.9%. You think that sounds reasonable for a luxury car, and you sign. On a $70,000 GLE finance for 72 months, that 2% markup costs you an extra $4,800 in interest. The finance manager just made a $2,400 commission off that markup alone, and you'll never even know it happened. Here's my rule. Always ask this exact question. What rate did I actually get approved for? And is this the buy rate or is there a markup? Watch their face when you ask that. If they hesitate or say, this is the best rate available, you know you're getting marked up. A rate comparison takes 30 seconds. Compare that to a $4,800 interest markup you'll pay over 6 years. Trust me on this one. Your Mercedes finance manager's job is to maximize profit per deal, not save you money. Number 2, the extended warranty shell game. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, extended warranties. If you're buying a new Mercedes, the finance manager will absolutely try to sell you an extended warranty, and they'll make it sound like you're an idiot if you don't buy it. But here's what most people don't know. That $4,500 Mercedes Platinum Protection Plan they're pushing, the dealership paid $1,200 for it wholesale. They're marking it up 275% and financing it into your loan, where you'll pay interest on it for 6 years. Watch for these pressure tactics. Mercedes repairs are extremely expensive, creating fear. This covers everything bumper to bumper. It doesn't. You can cancel anytime for a full refund. True, but they won't remind you. I can get you approved with this included, bundling to hide the cost. Everyone who finances a Mercedes gets this. Absolute lie. Here's the math they don't want you to do. That $4,500 warranty financed at 6.9% for 72 months actually cost you $5,340 with interest. Meanwhile, new Mercedes come with a 4-year, 50,000-mile warranty already. If you catch these early, you can simply say no and save the entire amount. Wait until after you sign, and they'll make cancellation a bureaucratic nightmare, hoping you just forget about it. Here's my pro tip. If you want an extended warranty, buy it later from a third party or directly from Mercedes for 40 to 60% less than the dealer charges. I know that sounds extreme, but it's cheaper than paying $5,340 for $1,200 worth of coverage. And when you do buy extended coverage, never finance it into the loan. Pay cash or don't buy it at all. Those financed warranties are what turn a 6% loan into an effective 8% loan when you calculate the true cost. Number 3, the payment packing method. This is the slickest trick in the book, and most Mercedes buyers fall for it every single time. The finance manager asks, what monthly payment are you comfortable with? And you say $800 a month. Big mistake. Huge. I've used this trick myself back in the day. Here's how it works. You say $800, so the finance manager builds a deal at $899. Then they work their magic and come back at $850, and you feel like you won because it's close to your target. But here's the truth. They pack that payment with every add-on possible. Extended warranty, gap insurance, tire and ink protection, prepaid maintenance, VIN etching, and low jack. Your $850 payment includes $180 a month in pure profit add-ons. I've seen GLE buyers paying $950 a month when their actual car payment should have been $650. The difference? $300 a month in add-ons they didn't even know they bought. Over 72 months, that's $21,600 in unnecessary charges. The correct answer when they ask about payment is, I'm focused on the total price and interest rate first. We can discuss payment structure after that. Here's what to look for. Finance manager focuses only on monthly payment, never total cost. They won't show you an itemized breakdown. Payment quote includes required products that aren't actually required. They say, I can get you to $799 without explaining what changed. A focused negotiation on price and rate takes maybe an extra 10 minutes. Compare that to a $21,600 payment pack. I know which one I'd choose. Number 4, gap insurance at 400% markup. Gap insurance is actually useful, I'll give them that. If you total your new Mercedes and owe more than it's worth, gap insurance covers the difference. But here's where they get you. The finance manager will quote gap insurance at $995 to $1,495. That same coverage from your car insurance company costs $200 to $300 total, or about $3 to $5 a month added to your existing policy. I've pulled apart too many finance deals where gap insurance cost $1,295 financed into a 6-year loan. With interest, that's $1,540 for coverage you could have bought for $240 from Geico or State Farm. Gap insurance from the dealer generates a 70 to 80% commission for the finance manager. So that $1,295 gap policy puts $900 to $1,000 in their pocket. No wonder they push it so hard. Here's my rule. Call your insurance company before you go to the dealership. Add gap coverage to your policy for $3 a month. When the finance manager offers it, say, I already have gap coverage through my insurance. They'll often respond with dealer gap is better, or insurance gap doesn't cover your deductible. Both are misleading. Read your insurance gap policy. It covers the same thing for 1/5 the price. And here's something critical. If you put 20% or more down on your Mercedes, you probably don't even need gap insurance. You're not underwater on the loan, so there's no gap to cover, but they'll sell it to you anyway, because it's pure profit. Number 5, the 4-square confusion technique. Not all finance managers use this, but the ones who do are trying to confuse you into submission. They pull out a paper with 4 boxes: vehicle price, trade-in value, down payment, and monthly payment. Then they start moving numbers around between boxes like a shell game. They lower your payment by $50, but somehow your trade-in value dropped by $2,000. They increase your trade allowance, but now you need to put $3,000 more down. I've seen this technique trap even sophisticated Mercedes buyers with MBA degrees. Why? Because they're tracking 4 moving variables while the finance manager controls the pen. The 4-square works because it hides the actual numbers that matter. The true price of the car, the actual value of your trade, and the real interest rate you're paying. Here's how to shut it down immediately. Say this: I appreciate the effort, but I need to negotiate one item at a time. First, what's your best out-the-door price for this car with no trade-in? Once we agree on that, we'll discuss my trade separately. If they refuse or say we don't work that way, you're at a dealership that relies on confusion to make profit. Walk out. Mercedes dealers are everywhere, and the good ones will negotiate transparently. Pro tip: never negotiate all 4 variables at once. Price first, trade-in second, financing third, add-ons fourth, in that order, always. Number 6, the prepaid maintenance scam. This one sounds good on paper. Prepaid maintenance for just $2,495 covers all your service for 4 years. The finance manager makes it sound like you're basically stealing from Mercedes. Here's the reality. That $2,495 prepaid maintenance plan covers oil changes and tire rotations. Maybe a cabin air filter. That's it. I've calculated the actual value of these plans dozens of times. For a typical Mercedes C-Class, you'll get about 8 oil changes at $200 each and 8 tire rotations at $40 each. Total value, $1,920. But you're paying $2,495, plus interest if it's financed. And here's the kicker. Mercedes frequently runs service specials, $99 oil changes, free tire rotations with purchase, complimentary inspections. You could easily get the same service for $1,200 to $1,400 by just paying as you go and using dealer promotions. Watch for these red flags. They call it free maintenance, but charge you $2,495, not free. It's required for lease approval. It's not. Everyone who buys a Mercedes gets this. They don't. They won't let you see the terms and conditions before signing. The finance manager makes a 40 to 50% commission on prepaid maintenance. The $2,495 plan puts $1,000 to $1,250 in their pocket. Here's my pro tip. If you want prepaid maintenance, buy it directly from Mercedes after the sale. They offer the exact same plans for 30 to 40% less than the dealer finance office charges. Or better yet, find an independent Mercedes specialist and pay as you go. A DIY approach to maintenance costs may be $1,200 over 4 years. Compare that to a $2,495 prepaid plan you'll pay interest on. Trust me on this one. Your Mercedes doesn't need a finance maintenance plan to run properly. If you made it this far, then consider liking this video, giving it a thumbs up, and subscribing to my channel. This helps me bring you more honest car buying advice. Number 7. Aftermarket add-ons you'll never use. Let's talk about the accessories graveyard. VIN etching, paint protection film, fabric protection, tire and wheel coverage, windshield protection, and theft deterrent systems. The finance manager will present these as protection packages for your investment. They'll say things like Mercedes paint is expensive to repair, or these wheels are $2,500 each. All true, but here's what they won't tell you. VIN etching costs the dealer $19 for the kit. They charge you $399. It takes 5 minutes to apply and does virtually nothing to prevent theft. Modern car thieves don't care about etched VINs. Paint protection film from the dealer costs $1,495 to $2,995. The same quality film from a specialty shop costs $800 to $1,500, and they'll do a better job because that's all they do. Fabric protection is a $39 can of Scotchgard sprayed on your seats. They charge $595 for it. You can buy the same can at Walmart and do it yourself in 10 minutes. Tire and wheel coverage sounds great until you read the fine print. It doesn't cover curb rash, the most common wheel damage. It doesn't cover tire damage from hitting potholes, the most common tire damage. So what does it cover? Almost nothing useful. I've seen customers pay $3,500 in aftermarket add-ons and use exactly $0 worth of benefits over 5 years. Meanwhile, the dealership made $2,800 in profit on products that cost them $700. Here's my rule. Say no to everything in the finance office except the car and the loan. If you want paint protection, tire coverage, or any accessories, buy them aftermarket for 50 to 70% less. And here's the thing, if the finance manager says these products are required for approval or part of the deal, that's a lie. Nothing except the car, taxes, title, and registration fees are required. Everything else is optional and negotiable. Number 8, the yo-yo financing scam. This is the most predatory trick in automotive finance, and it's completely legal in most states. Here's how it works. You buy your Mercedes, sign all the paperwork, and drive home happy. 3 days later, the finance manager calls, "I'm sorry, but your financing fell through. You need to come back and re-sign at a higher interest rate or return the car." But here's the truth. Your financing never fell through. You were approved the whole time at the rate they originally quoted. They're just trying to bump your rate up by 1 to 2% now that you're emotionally attached to the car. I've seen this happen with GLE and GLS buyers especially. They drive their new $80,000 SUV for a week, show it off to friends and family, and then get the call. Most people just re-sign at the higher rate because they don't want to give the car back. That 1.5% rate increase on an $80,000 loan costs you an extra $3,600 in interest over 72 months. The finance manager gets an additional commission for the bump. You get screwed. Here's how to protect yourself. Before you leave the dealership, ask, is this financing final and approved, or is this a spot delivery subject to approval? If they say spot delivery or subject to approval, do not take the car home. Wait until you have final unconditional approval. It might take an extra day, but it prevents the yo-yo scam completely. And if they call you with the financing fell through story, call your bluff. Say, I'll return the car then. 9 times out of 10, they'll suddenly find the original approval. If they don't, return the car and buy from a different dealer. This trick relies on your emotional attachment. Don't fall for it. There are hundreds of Mercedes dealers and only one of you. Number 9, the will beat any rate lie. Here's the final trick, and it's subtle. The finance manager says, we'll beat any rate you can find. Just bring us a competing offer. Sounds great, right? Wrong. I've used this line myself. Here's what actually happens. You bring in a pre-approval from your credit union at 5.4%. The finance manager says, great, we can beat that. How about 5.3%? You feel like you won, but here's what they did. They took your 5.3% rate and packed it with add-ons. Your actual interest rate is 5.3%, but your effective rate after all the financed warranties and products is 7.8%. Or they'll beat your rate by 0.1%, then mark up every add-on to compensate. You save $200 in interest, but pay an extra $2,000 in unnecessary products. They still win. The rate match is a psychological trick to make you feel like they're on your team. They're not. They're making money either on the rate or on the products, and they don't care which. Here's my rule. Get pre-approved from your bank or credit union before you shop. Use that as your baseline. If the dealer beats it, great, but only if you're buying 0 add-ons in the finance office. And here's the critical part. Ask for a buyer's order that shows the exact vehicle price, your exact interest rate, your exact monthly payment, an itemized list of every single add-on with individual prices. If they won't provide this before you sign, walk. No legitimate dealer will refuse to give you an itemized breakdown. Conclusion. And here's the thing about Mercedes finance managers. They're not evil people, but they're compensated to maximize profit per deal. Treat them like the salespeople they are, not like financial advisors, and you'll save thousands. Your Mercedes purchase can be a great experience, but only if you protect yourself in the finance office. These 9 tricks aren't just theory. They're the difference between paying $65,000 for your E-Class or paying $77,000 for the same car once you add up all the finance office profit. I've seen both outcomes too many times. Know what you're signing, question every add-on, negotiate every fee, use pre-approved financing as leverage, and your Mercedes will cost what it should cost, not what the finance manager wants it to cost. Follow this advice, stay firm in the finance office, and your luxury car won't come with luxury-priced regret. If you found these tips helpful, be sure to watch this next video, as we're sharing insider tips to help you negotiate the best price on any luxury vehicle and avoid the tricks dealers use in the sales process.